everyone, my name is Kirakaya, and today we're going to be discussing probably the biggest achievement of my life, just sitting right behind me here. I built the Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. That's the prodigal son, okay, I can't say that word, the bad butt, baby brother. A lot went into this guy, and there was a lot going on with this build. So in this video I'm going to be going over some of what I did for the suit, how I made it, what I did for it, some of the features, and of course I'm going to be showing it off in action. So before we get into it, only a small percentage of you guys are subscribed, so if you guys could just do that really quick, that would be fantastic. Alright, so I think it's appropriate that I start from the top down, and as I get through that, I'm going to put it to the side because I got to pack this thing away from Katsucon. So starting off with the cream of the crop here, the big boy helmet. So this guy's fully motorized, electronics all done, and it's got some nice padding in there and like all that wiring goodness. And you can see all that fun stuff. So the helmet here is by Walsh 3D. You can follow his Instagram. By the way, I'll have everyone's Instagrams linked down below that was involved, so that way I don't have to say that every time. So yeah, this helmet is absolutely gorgeous. It was actually the last thing I completed because the first thing I built was the helmet. But that helmet was so god-awful in quality, and also I couldn't get it demotorized properly, so I completely scrapped it and I rebuilt the whole thing from scratch. So like I said, this thing is fully electric and motorized. I have the battery pack right here, which I got off Amazon. And I just gotta hit the switch like right in the chin here, and it'll do that. Opens up nice and wide, so that way like I have a clear view and stuff like that. Nothing's obstructing me, and also the higher the faceplate goes, probably the better. And then it'll close just like that. Nice and smoothly, but let's open it back up. I do want to show you that I did hand paint some chrome details on here. I hand painted the chrome in the black lip here for a little bit of detail. I added chrome to the little side silver bits on the faceplate, which most people when they build the Mark 42 helmets, they don't put those on the faceplate, which is actually a little hidden detail I saw in the movie. I technically have one of the most accurate Mark 42 helmets out there, so I'm very happy with that. And you may be asking, why is the power cord so long? Well, that's because I'm going to have the battery pack mounted to the lower back of the suit, so that way like it can be ripped out, replaced, whatever. And so that way I can put these away, charge it, replace it. And then you may be asking, it's small, couldn't this just fit in the helmet? Now we're going to talk about the torso and the neck here. So slightly in the future Kira here, I forgot to mention this entire suit was modeled by Johan 3D Printmaster. Now I made the neck out of this Flash Force flexible PLA. Now this is basically PLA but very rubbery. So it's very flexible, it's very wiggly, and you don't have to change your printer settings from normal PLA to this because it prints at all the same settings as normal PLA.
And I am legally obligated to give Frank Woodbill credit for this idea.
Yeah, so I printed this the same as the rest of this whole suit. I didn't even change the print speed, and it came out perfectly fine. But once you get closer, there are some scuffs and stuff like that, and you'll definitely see layer lines because you can't really sand it very well. But it does really add to the comfort. It is kind of a tight fit around my neck, which you'll see when I actually wear it, but because it's flexible and I've added elastic to it to keep it together as well as it be able to stretch, it's going to be perfectly comfortable. And now talking about the torso, I'm just going to say this flat out so I don't have to repeat this every time. For the majority of the suit, I used Overture PLA. And that goes for the chest and the back and all the majority piece of the suit, including the abs and the legs and all that fun jazz. So I didn't use PLA Plus. I didn't really see a need. Well, actually half of it's PLA Plus, half of it's PLA. I was having a midlife crisis in the middle of this build. What do you expect? It'll serve perfectly well. I don't plan to go outside in hot weather in this. I plan to stay inside cons, so I don't really see an issue with it personally. But if you're concerned with heat, I would print this in probably PET G. So anyway, I printed all of this on my Elegoo Neptune 3 Plus and Max. The entire back and chest were basically on one shot in my Neptune
Max,
which it printed absolutely beautifully. I sanded the majority of the suit using this Craftsman palm sander I picked up at Lowe's for 30 bucks. You can probably get one for 20 even, but yeah, I just like Craftsman stuff, so I got this. So I sanded the majority of it with this at 80 grit sandpaper. then I knocked it down to 100. Did a Rust-Oleum filler primer, then hit it again with 120, and just kept going from there. Progressively higher grit sandpapers, prime it, all the wet sanding, and yeah, that stuff. So for primer, I use this Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer. It's pretty cheap at my local Ace. It's like $7 or $9 per can. So after I prime my parts, I laid down one of two base coats. If it was a majority red part, I would have used this Rust-Oleum silver as my base coat. This can lay down right on the primer because it has some primer in it already, so it doesn't really affect it if you don't do it with gloss black. And it's also really cheap, which is the main reason why I went with this. But if it was a gold part, I would be using this gloss black as a base coat. This is Krylon gloss black. They're really affordable. Like, I think this is probably the cheapest paint at around $6, and it lays down beautifully. And then comes the majority of paints, what you see on the suit. So this here is Duplicolor Metal Cast Red. It's basically a tint. It's very runny, so you want to put this on very light coats. And if you look at my suit like in person and up close, you will definitely see running parts because I was rushing and I sprayed a little too much. This was about $17. You could get it at Advanced or AutoZone. Same as this, is about the same price. It's the Duplicolor Perfect Match Automotive Paint. Specifically for this suit, I got Chrysler Champagne Gold. It looks like about this. I know the lighting makes it a little hard to tell, but personally, I think it's probably the best Champagne Gold paint you can buy. Do I regret my paint choices? Absolutely not. It looks gorgeous. Would I ever use them again? No. You can get a Rust-Oleum Champagne Gold, which looks pretty decent. My friend Illiterate Author, who also made this armor stand for me, he used that on his Iron Man build, which looks pretty nice. So that's much more affordable than this, but I just think it looks way better. And finally, for the clear coats used for most of the suit, like 98% of it, I use this 2K clear coat. This is a 2-part clear coat. It has a resin in it and it has an activator inside of it to harden it. Yeah, this is a very solid, like probably like the best quality clear coat you can buy in a can. Now with that being said, this is also $22 a can, so you get what you pay for. There is another option which I did use towards near the end of the suit because I didn't want to buy another canvas just to waste it on like a couple small parts. So I got this Duplicolor 1K clear. Just like the other Duplicolors, you can buy this at any automotive store. It's also $17. Like, it is pretty expensive, but it is cheaper. It doesn't react with the silver. It doesn't really dull it that much. Yeah, it works really well and looks fantastic. I use that on one of the gloves. But yeah, that's it for all the paints. For the mounting mechanism, for the chest, I have some magnets in the sides here, so I'm able to just like, I'm able to pop that forward. It's a lot easier, honestly, to put on one piece at a time. I've done it already. It's fine. I can do it myself. But yeah, it just perfectly slots in because of how the magnets are set up. They're slotted into the point where it will keep it aligned. Now, fair warning, I did just hot glue this in with some really high quality hot glue, but I didn't mount these on a bracket or anything. So they are prone to failing. So I'm going to be using some fail safes, like a couple elastic straps on the sides, so that way in case they do fail, the whole armor doesn't fall apart. It will just kind of be loose, but it'll stay on fine. I got a lot of those tips from my friend Saturday Morning Props, who was formerly known as Quest for Nostalgia. The old name was way better, by the way. Now, let's light this up. For the chest RT, arc reactor, whatever you want to call it, I use these freaking Amazon puck lights.
Suggested to me by Matt Made.
All I literally did, I did not modify this at all. I literally just slapped this into the chest, hot glued around this, and this is holding that in, and it's working great. The batteries in these things last forever. Like, I had this thing on for like a full 48 hours before just to test it, and it did not even dim once. So like, okay. And also this has a bunch of colors, so like if you want to do like a War Machine, you got red here, and then you can just like switch it to whatever color you want, have a freaking disco party, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. This light is remote activated. I know, funny, I dropped my freaking flannel, it's great. Yeah, I can literally just turn this off and on with this remote, and I don't have to cycle through the colors, so all I gotta do is just hit off, and then on, and then boom. So on the topic of electronics, let's move to the gloves here. You can see like they're very bright, brighter than my future. But before we do that, I'm getting a little tired and thirsty, so so I'm very proud of these. So I went through hell to try and get these fingers scaled properly. Like you can see like how beautiful the paint job looks. They're fully articulated. I can bend my fingers very nicely in it. So the file for both the palm, this wrist guard, and then the entire arm, of course, is by Night Plates on Instagram. And the fingers are Walsh 3D's No BS fingers. So these are actually hinged, but just in case the hinges fail, because they're very small, they can break easily, whatever. I still put elastic in them, but the hinges do help, and my fingers are not at all rubbing against them or uncomfortable, anything like that. And the wrist guards are printed in the flexible PLA. That way I have a little bit of flex in them, so that way they're not very uncomfortable. I can still move around in it, because you can see like, I can still like move my hand up a bit. Yeah, it helps also cover up that gap and everything like that, and just looks really nice, even though like the paint job isn't the best, but it's a guard, I don't really care. But of course the main feature of the glove is this beautiful blinding repulsor. Now I have a switch in here that will activate it just by depressing the joint here in my pointer finger. I'll just do that, and it turns on, and it'll turn off like that. Just that way it doesn't like warm up, kill the batteries or anything like that, and make my hand be engulfed in flames. So this was actually a dollar store puck light that I disassembled and stuffed in here. This is also courtesy of Saturday Morning Props, because I could not find these for the life of me in my local dollar stores, like in Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Nobody had them. So he got a free pack at his and shipped it out to me, and I disassembled them, and boom. So the thing I really like about these is like, one, it's super bright. Two, all the pieces that you need to like get this to work are already included. Here's the battery pack. I don't have the backing on it because that's actually Velcroed to like the elbow area, like in the forearm, because that's the only place I could fit it. I extended the wiring, and I added a connector right here with two DuPont connectors, so that way I can just unplug and plug it. And the connector there is like a little keyed, so like you can see only one prong's on this one, then one prong's on this, so that way you cannot plug this in backwards and fry it and not work, whatever. And the switch is included in the puck light. It's already wired to it. It has a resistor on it, which I just extended the wiring from that to the light itself. And then, of course, the extended wiring to make it go from the palm, and then run it around the back, and then it goes through the back here. So yeah, that's kind of how I did that. It's held in by hot glue. And for this and the arc reactor, I also put in this diffusion material that I got on Amazon. Yeah, that's it for the glove. Moving on to the abs here. These have the same magnets that I included on the chest and back to help with alignment and keep it in place. And as well as I have some Velcro in there to keep them together as well as a failsafe. So these are hooked onto me by a harness, which basically how this harness works, it connects directly to the ab pieces. It's just two nylon straps. I got this kit on Amazon too. That buckle into two buckles on the abs and then the back, and then it'll strap right onto me. And moving to the cod piece here, why am I doing this? This is completely Velcroed on. So I have this attached to 3 bits of Velcro and 3 bits of elastic. So that way like I can easily attach it and remove it from the abs here. And I have one more piece attaching it to the butt plate. So this one I actually extruded myself from the abs. I used Frank Woodville's tutorial on that, about like doing this in Mesh Mixer. So the butt plate was too complicated to extrude from the file in Mesh Mixer. So I had my friend Levy 3D actually help me out with that. He was originally just going to teach me how to do it in Blender, but I destroyed his patience, so he ended up doing it himself, which I still to this day, even though like it's been months, feel extremely horrible about. So Levy, if you're watching this, which you're not, I'm still very sorry. But the elastic's on here to really help with the movements. That way it doesn't like get stuck or not allow me to have kids in the future. And then finally, let's talk about the legs and the shoe. So the thighs are secured by a buckle and strap system that's attached to the abs, and it goes directly to the thighs. Now both sides use a buckle, so the entire thing is removable. And how I have the thighs and the knees connected, I of course have my Velcro and elastic system, and I also added in these amazing cosplay joints modeled by Plentiful Props 3D. So the quick rundown of it is that it uses 2 Chicago style screws to allow it to have like a double joint system where like I can move this around and it'll stay in place. And finally, around the entire suit to help a little bit with the paint protection, I used some of this 3M vinyl clear wrap. I cut these into little strips and I added these to some certain rubbing points on the suit that's more prone to scratching and all that, just to help protect the paint job a little bit, because with use, that is going to get destroyed. This is another trick I learned from Frank Woodville. I learned so much about building suits from his videos and talking to him directly. So that was a huge help. So I thank him immensely for like the videos that he made that really helped with these builds. So I'm expecting parts of the suit that get scratched up, banged up, whatever. It's battle damage. I just want to help prevent this from scuffing up right away. Oh wait, I forgot to mention, the arms are pretty great because these are attached together, right? So in order to move my forearm, Knife Plates is a freaking genius and added a 3D printable ball bearing. So that way I could twist my arm with freaking ease. Like, look at that. It's great. I used cute little stencils too for like my username, as well as the Mark 42 badge on the other forearm. These stencils were modeled by JS Corruption on Instagram, so I was able to just tape these onto the forearms, do a couple spritzes of the gold, and then boom, I had the Mark 42 and my cosplay tag on there, so yay. And now that we're basically done talking about the suit, I'm just gonna go over the undersuit quick. So I had this pattern also made by JS Corruption. He also makes suit patterns. And so he did this custom made for me. I'm probably gonna do a V2 because there are already a couple changes I want to do. But yeah, this will be what I'm wearing under the suit. It fits me perfectly. I got this printed and sewn by my boys over at Print Costumes. So yeah, we got the red bits there, stuff like that. We got red fingers to show through the gloves there. It'll look great. It's got a hood, which I'm probably gonna just chop this off, and U-shaped zipper, which is completely unnecessary for the suit, but I did it anyway because Spider-Man callbacks. And the least exciting bit about this is the shoes. I just got some 2-inch platforms on Amazon. These are females because it's the only ones I could get. And I also have 1-inch riser soles on the inside of them that I got on there. So this should increase my height by about 3 inches, so it's gonna take me from 5'7" to 5'10" in the suit, so. But yeah, to get to this point, after like a year of work, I didn't think when I started cosplaying over like 2 years ago at this point, back in, oh god, it'll be 3 this year, that I went from just like doing it as a joke on Discord to this whole spiritual journey almost. And in a million years, never would I think I'd be able to do something like this. When I was 10 years old, I went to see Iron Man 3 in theaters, and back then, like, I was a massive Raimi simp. I didn't even quite understand the whole MCU going on. I remember going into that theater and coming out with my, like, it felt almost life-changing in a way. It was weird. Iron Man 3 really, like, made Tony Stark, like, one of my favorite characters, like, period. And for years after that, like, Iron Man was my favorite superhero, just period. Like, there's something about that movie that just resonated me when I was young. I can't quite understand, like, what it was. Like, I don't think it was, like, just, like, oh, all the cool suits flying in and stuff like that was super cool. Like, yeah, I was like that, of course. I was a kid, and I'm still like that, as you should. But there's just something about it. And watching it again as an adult, like, I connected to it with a deeper level because last year, like, while I was building this and, like, after KatsuCon in February last year, which I started this in March because I was going to start this immediately after KatsuCon, but I took a month off because I was in a very, very bad place because of my own actions and my own, like, selfishness, and I lost so many more people as well because of that. I found myself very alone. Can't really say that because there's a couple people that stuck by me during all that, which I thank them deeply for sticking by me. I was literally dealing with my own demons that I created, and the whole, like, overarching thing with Iron Man 3 is that Tony Stark created his own demons and he had to face them. That's basically like the entire trilogy. I was trying to get a therapist, I couldn't get one, and so this became my therapy. Like I said before, I never thought in a million years I could do something like this. And it's all thanks to the people who have built these before, who have made tutorials, like Frank and all them, and like the modelers like Walsh and Johan and stuff like that, that have made these suits possible to make. Even though there's a lot of flaws, like some of the paint isn't perfect or anything like that, there's still some bumps, some layer lines, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this exists. And I'm the reason that this exists. And when I put this together for the first time, I was probably crying for 30 minutes. Every imperfection, every mistake I kind of left some of them in there because I could easily go back and redo it. Like, it's not because I wasn't willing to do it. I did the helmet all over. It's a physical representation of basically not being afraid to show my mistakes. That I'm not ever going to be perfect. And that I'm always going to keep trying to be better one step at a time. But that's enough sappy talk. I'm sure you want to finally see this thing actually being used and go into action. So yeah, let's do this. From the top. Let's go. Hope y'all enjoyed that, and thank you so much to Saturday Morning Props for joining me there. It was a great time, and it was an honor debuting the suit next to you and Frank rebuilt, which I swear was there. I have pictures to prove it. Like, it was a great Katsucon all around, met so many new friends, hung out with some old ones. It was just great. But as you saw, the eyes weren't lit up there and the faceplate wasn't really working because the helmet broke in the hotel before there. Like, it literally showed no signs of like trouble or anything. I just plugged in the power source and just randomly stopped working, which I need to fix that. But I just want to give a quick special thanks to everyone who had like indirect involvement as well as like some direct involvement, like Brian Cox Photography for the absolutely gorgeous pictures of Mark 42. It is phenomenal, and thank God for his VFX skills by adding in the eyes in post. And thank you to Out of Time Productions for shooting my video there. He was the same one who shot my Spider-Man 2 Advanced Suit video. So he does fantastic work and absolutely killed it. And thank you to a couple people who helped give me some tidbits on how to do a couple things on the suit, like the glues and my harness system and everything, which I'm going to be improving on a little bit. Thank you to Ryro Studios who gave me some tips on the mounting and everything like that. If I'm forgetting to mention anybody, I apologize. I'll try to remember to put as many people in the description as possible, and I'll probably add some people in as time goes on if I remember. But yeah, that's basically all I got for you. Leave a comment down below if you want to see like a future build video in the future for like a whole new Iron Man suit or something like that. It's something I'm kind of like interested in, but this was a ton of work. We'll see. And maybe comment down below like your favorite mark or something, because Iron Man suits are cool. But yeah, I have my other socials down below, like my Instagram and everything, where you'll see the rest of the Iron Man pictures, as well as like my TikTok and other stuff where I repost the same short content over and over. I have a Discord down below too if you want to come join and hang out, talk to me in VC, because I'm in there like all the time because I have no life. And I also do 3D printing commissions, so hit me up on Instagram or check out my email that's linked in my channel, and hit me up. I'll 3D print whatever you want. Just throw me a file and we'll talk business, because I like making stuff for people. And of course there's Patreon. You can support me there. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I have an exclusive interview on there, at least, with Elfette, who runs Spidey Planet, Spider-Man thing. So I at least have something on there. But yeah, thank you all so much for sticking around for this painfully long video. There's just a lot to cover, and I'm just glad y'all stuck around, and hopefully y'all enjoy what I got. God, he's gonna hate if I say it. You know what? Screw it. What we're gonna cook in the future. But yeah, until the next video, I'm gonna be flying to your mom's house in my Iron Man suit and
showing her the power of the prodigal. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. Have a good night.